Hey guys, it's Sam the Geek, and today I'm going to be testing out my iPhone recording software so that I can make future videos with iOS. But I came across an interesting article, and it says that video games are actually too long. Now, I've never heard this argument before, so it kind of blew my mind that someone actually thought that video games are too long. I mean, besides the casual exception of something like Mass Effect or Skyrim, the majority of games clock in under 10 hours. And that's one flaw I see with this argument. This guy, let's see, or woman, or I really don't know, I can't find the name of the person on this article, made the assumption that all games are like Mass Effect and that people spend hours and hours. But unfortunately for the reader, for the writer, he doesn't understand that a lot of people aren't like him. He says that he can't find time to play video games, etc., and that's why the whole industry is going down in a slump. You got to understand that it is summertime. Summertime means that children and college students have more time to play video games. But the quality of games that come out in the summer is often not that great, so most people go to their backlogs or other video games that they already own. And he tries to make the argument that there are games like FIFA and Call of Duty, let me find that argument on here, that, there's his games are too fucking long, and that free-to-play games stagger incentive to buy games. But he's like, here we go. Full-price games are now remarkable, and they come in at less than 10. And if they come in at less than 10 hours, full games are now remarkable if they come in at less than 10 hours. Almost every game comes in at less than 10 hours. Honestly. But then again, who am I to say that? I see people on YouTube proclaiming that Limbo is 8 hours long, and I beat it in under 2. So maybe I'm biased because I catch on to video games quite quickly. Puzzles aren't that much of an issue to me, and I beat the majority of my games in under 10 hours. Apparently, a lot of people think that Batman Arkham Asylum is over 10 hours long, and I beat it under 8. So, who knows? People also said that Dead Space 2 was 11 hours long, and on both of my run-throughs through it, it was 7. So I have honestly no idea how people can say that those games are 10 hours long. But, many of the biggest, Skyrim and Mass Effect, offer vastly more. Well, yeah, but that's 2 examples out of literally hundreds of games that come out every month. Not hundreds, but there's at least 50 games that come out every month. And to name Skyrim and Mass Effect, Skyrim came out how many months ago? Mass Effect came out, in February? There hasn't been a gigantic game since Mass Effect. And he's like, it's not just the length of the campaign we're talking about here either. Online modes like the likes of FIFA and Call of Duty and Battlefield represent a year's worth of gaming at least. I don't know about you, but everyone I know has one main game that they play for multiplayer, but they always, play other games for single player because a lot of people do get bored of games. Even a lot of the Call of Duty crowd, you see them drifting to things like DayZ and Minecraft and, hell, even Battlefield. A lot of people play a lot of different games. They don't just focus on one game. But as a guy, you can tell what kind of gamer this guy is. He games in his spare time, and he probably writes about video games for a living, so the games he does get to play in his leisure time is very little. He doesn't have that much time. He keeps mentioning how much time it takes, and that games are too long. But he doesn't understand that a lot of people aren't in his predicament. A lot of people can only afford a couple of games a year, so they want a game that can maximize the amount of content. That's why Skyrim and Mass Effect are huge sellers, and stuff like Spec Ops The Line, which, gaming media like him praise. You see, I was looking at Spec Ops The Line in reviews today, and it has a 76, and people actually really love it. A lot of game journalists love it. But I know why a lot of game journalists love it, because a lot of game journalists love short games that play upon their emotions, because they don't get that a lot. A lot of game journalists don't have time to play video games. They can't play a Skyrim. They can't play a Mass Effect. And I think that's affecting a lot of their judgments, because games that are long games often get pushed to the side unless they're specifically assigned that game. So their judgments of a game and their love of a game, and I think a lot of these shorter games get a lot more praise, such as Journey, because it's a short, simple experience. And I think they often get a little overrated because they're reviewed by game journalists who have such a good time playing a short, simple game because it's not really rushed, it's not really there, but it wouldn't really appeal to someone who's the average gamer, I'd say, who wants to get as much content out of their $60 purchase as possible. That's why I think Spec Ops The Line is getting such good reviews, when in all honesty, as much as I would like to buy it, a 5-hour campaign doesn't sound too interesting, and from what I hear, the multiplayer is barren. So, I would say that no, video games are not too long. I'd say that the reason for the summer slope is the exact opposite. Video games are too short. There's really no reason for me to go buy Ghost Recon, Spec Ops The Line, or pretty much any game that's come out. Spider-Man, they're all like, I hear, 3 to 4 hours. And Men in Black was like, I heard, shorter than the movie, and same with Battleship. Those two movie games were shorter than the films that they're based off of. So no, I think the video game slump has more to do with the lack of replayability, the lack of longevity of the games that come out in this time of the year. When the winter months start kicking up again, you'll see spikes in sales, and the video game industry will be doing better than it's ever had, because of stuff like Halo 4 and all these amazing, huge blockbuster titles. There are so many amazing games, and a lot of people are probably saving up their money. That's why they're not buying Spec Ops The Line when they can buy Assassin's Creed and Halo. Guaranteed amazing games than, an iffy, edgy experience that's about 5 hours long that you can't even rent at a Redbox. And I think that has a lot to do with it too. The fact that I can't rent Spec Ops The Line at Redbox prevents me from talking about it, prevents people from hearing about it from a non-reviewer point of view, which makes people skeptical because they don't hear actual people playing it, only reviewers. And, and cases like this, I don't really trust reviewers if a game is short. That's why game reviewers love Portal. They love Portal because it's super short, it's super witty, and it's super funny, and they like that shit. But to the average gamer, Portal I give it an 8 because it's not really replayable. It's not something you're going to play over and over and over again. The average gamer's not going to do that. It's not for everyone, and it's definitely not a $60 game. But to a reviewer, they don't really focus on price because they're just going off their own enjoyment, which I think is a heavily skewed issue in our gaming industry. Anyway, I would love to hear your opinions about this. I think that video games are too short, which is why we don't see a lot of pickups this summer, and why digital games and stuff like Microsoft's been able to capitalize on the summer of arcade. I don't know, I've already seen a ton of people purchase Tony Hawk, including myself, and a ton of people playing it on my friends list, more than I thought there would be. There was at least 10 people. And, and stuff like that. Simple, easy $15 games are a lot easier to swallow than $60 experiences like Spec Ops The Line that are 5 hours. I'm sure you can get a lot more time and a lot more enjoyment out of Tony Hawk. And that's what I think the market's seeing too. Anyways, I hope this works well, and I'm going to test it now.